Africa has from today to deal with the hard consequences of the new level 3 lockdown. Business Day describing South Africa as being caught between economic catastrophe and a healthcare disaster. So where does this leave us in the short term? I want to bring into this conversation Moletsi Mbeki, is one of the country's leading political commentators and joins me now on ENC. Mr. Mbeki, good afternoon to you and welcome. So as Business Day says, faced with a difficult choice, a runaway pandemic and an economy on the brink, did the president have any choice last night but to follow the route that he chose?
He definitely had no choice. As you can see, the virus, coronavirus, is really affecting a huge number of people every day. So the government had to take action to try and slow down the progress of this virus and to try and reduce the impact of the virus on the population. So in that respect, I don't think the government had a choice. So, yes, I think in a way they did the right thing. You know, there's no magic wand on how you cope with coronavirus. If you look at countries like Korea, which had done almost everything and thought that they had gotten rid of the virus, but it has come back in a very virulent form again. So the governments have to deal with the issue of the virus. The issue of the economy, well, that's another story.
Well, let's get to that in just a moment, but already we're starting to hear pushback after last night from political space, from civil society. I would suggest to you the pandemic is becoming more and more of a contested space, but that was always inevitable, wasn't it?
Yes, that was inevitable, and what makes it more of a contested space is what has not been done in the country since what the ANC government had failed to do since 1994. So the different protagonists are taking advantage of COVID-19 to air their grievances, because now the government has to listen to their grievances and the media has to listen to their grievances, whereas before nobody was listening to them because they saw that they felt, the government felt, there was no crisis.
Do you think, Mr. Mbeki, for the next 6 months or so, the South African economy is now a lost cause, that it's going to become almost impossible for us to recover?
Well, I think all economies always recover. The point is, what are the costs that are incurred for them to recover? So the South African economy will recover, not in 6 months certainly, but it will recover. But the policies that the ANC government has been pursuing have to change. The policies have to become more investor-focused and investor-friendly than the government has been doing up to now. Up to now, the government's policies have been consumption-focused and import-focused rather than local production-focused. So the policies will have to change, and those are the changes that have to be implemented if the economy is going to recover.
Where is the jump-off point as far as that's concerned, in order for us to become more internally focused as far as the economy is concerned?
Well, you know, the government opened the economy. It was warned many times over and again. For example, over clothing, over footwear, over textile. It was warned that we had to modernize the industry before you open it up to outside competition. That's what countries like China did. When you have a closed economy, you have to modernize the economy and open it up gradually. Our government ignored all that and opened up the economy, and then huge sections of our industries collapsed or couldn't stand up to the competition. So they have to go back to the advice they were given and start to implement that advice. The other question was ballooning the public sector, the huge employment of public servants at huge salaries. Again, they were warned about that, and they just carried on as if nothing had happened. Well, the chicken had come home to roost, and this is what we are seeing today.
Just a final question, Mr. Mbeki. Do you think we have any choice in 2021 but to go back to the International Monetary Fund?
At the level of the piling up of the debt that the government is faced with, I doubt that they have a choice. I think they have to go to the International Monetary Fund and ask for more support, given the level of indebtedness of the South African government.
Thank you for joining us, Moletsi Mbeki, political commentator. This is ENCA coming.